I want to thank you very much for holding this hearing, and I especially want to thank the witnesses today in front of us, Mr. Mayorkas, Mr. Wray, and Ms. Abizaid. You've got a difficult task in this country today. The title of this committee is Worldwide Threats of the Homeland Security. First of all, you've got the challenge of finding a needle in a haystack. Domestic terrorism. I've got a chart here from the ADL that shows the number of incidences, national level. You've got to play defense here in the U.S. as well as defense overseas. And I agree with my colleague, Mr. Mike McCall, that things have never been so bad. We're coming out of COVID right now. We've got countries, essentially failed economies, failed democracies around the world, worldwide refugee movement. And on top of that, I understand, Mr. Wray, that you essentially declared possible heightened state of alert for the country. Is that correct? Something of the sort, that we just got to watch the things that are going on right now?
I've testified, and I feel very strongly that we are in a heightened threat environment.
And I couldn't agree with you more. We've got, 2 wars going on at least, areas of conflict around the world. And I'm here really to ask, how can we help you do your job better? I'm not going to be here to ask for an impeachment or hold you accountable. I'm here to make sure that you're able to hold the line 100%. We can't afford to have another Uvalde in our country. We can't afford to have another 911. So I'm here really to listen to what it is. What resources do you need to do your job? And I'm going to start out with Mr. Mayorkas. Do you need more or less analysts? This is a big job. How do you find a needle in a haystack? Do you need more analysts or less at the Homeland Security? Can that help?
Congressman, we have submitted a request for supplemental funding. We need additional personnel, resources to include facilities and technology. The men and women of the
And we need technology, sir. We need good intel. We need to make sure that we're able to work with our allies, our law enforcement, state, local, federal coordination. That's why Homeland Security was created, because of the silos that existed before 911. Coordinate good intel to make sure you're able to do your job. CBP-1. Do you get information off of that? Do you let people just into the country, or do you take their information? What kind of data do you require for CBP to work?
Congressman, CBP-1 is a process that we employ that enables us to screen and vet individuals before they arrive at the border, to enable us to make a determination whether or not they should be allowed.
Do you ask for biometric information? What is it exactly that you collect there to make sure that the folks that are applying are essentially vetted?
Congressman, we confirm identity and we screen and vet them to make sure that they do not pose either a public safety threat or a threat to our national security.
Thank you. Director Wray, what is it that we can do as Congress to help you make sure that you do your job better? Make sure that you 100%, nobody scores on us.
Well, Congressman, I appreciate the question. Certainly the budget requests that we've submitted, both in the 24 budget itself, but also the supplemental, are all things we desperately need. Second, reauthorize 702 in a form where we can actually use it to protect Americans here from foreign threats. Third, Secretary Mayorkas highlighted, which I think can't be highlighted enough, the need to reauthorize the counter-UAS authority, which is going to expire at the end of this week if something isn't done. And that is authority that if it's gone, no one, not DHS, not FBI, no one here can protect Americans from that threat. So those are a few of the things that would be very important from the FBI's perspective.
And let me say that I appreciate the 3 of you being here today, because we need to make sure that the public out there on Main Street understands the good work you're doing. You may be controversial, but that's part of the democratic system. But you're doing a good job protecting our families back home. And I just want to make sure people understand that we need to work as a team to make sure the job gets done. Ma'am, any thoughts on what resources you need to do your job?
I would associate myself with my colleagues' comments here. FISA 702 authority is absolutely essential for the counterterrorism mission. And to your point about working as a team, the counterterrorism architecture that we've built across the intelligence community, law enforcement community, defense, diplomatic, and homeland security professional community needs to be sustained. And sustaining that at the levels we requested, it would be incredibly helpful.
Thank you. And Mr. Chair, I yield.
The gentleman yields.